There is a strong reason your inner feeling brought you to this exact moment. Deep inside, you already know something happened yesterday. Maybe you felt a strange change in the air. Maybe fear brushed past you for no reason. Maybe an empty feeling hit your chest while you were doing normal things. That worry was not fully yours. It was the echo of someone else's emotional pain reaching you from far away. Right now, that person is not okay. Their inner world has been shaken hard, and what you felt was the wave from that collapse. If yesterday felt heavier than usual, stay with this message. It may explain more than you think. Yesterday, this person felt you more deeply than they have since the distance began. That proves something important. Real bonds do not care about miles, silence, or blocked screens. They move underneath all of that. Think of two connected spaces. When one side fills with pressure, the other side feels it too. That sudden pull to check your phone, that restless mood, that strange ache with no clear cause, all of it may have been your first sign that their wall finally cracked. The feelings they tried so hard to bury rose too fast and too strong. The wave was so intense that you caught it in your own body. If this sounds like yesterday for you, then listen closely, because the next part matters. Your mind may have tried to explain it away as stress, poor sleep, or simple overthinking. But part of you already knows the difference between your own sadness and a feeling arriving from someone else's storm. What you picked up yesterday was a silent cry for comfort. While they were facing the painful truth that no busy day can erase the memory of you, they entered a very dark emotional space where the only real light they could still feel was the one you once gave them. Pride may still stop them from speaking, but their deeper self reached for you anyway. It reached with such force that you may have felt watched even when the room was empty. That shift was not random. It marked a change in the connection that can no longer stay hidden. And if you have been wondering why this happened yesterday and not weeks ago, there is a reason. Something inside them had been building for a long time, quietly, constantly. Every memory they pushed down, every message they wanted to send and did not, every tear they refused to show, every time they acted cold while still feeling everything, all of that pressure kept rising. Then yesterday, it finally crossed the line. If you have ever asked why their image suddenly feels so clear in your mind, almost like they are standing behind you, this is why. Something opened on the unseen level. Something broke. Keep listening, because this is where it gets even deeper. Yesterday was not a normal day in their emotional story. It was the moment when the mask became too heavy to carry. Acting like someone who means everything means nothing at all takes a lot of energy. Pretending not to care when your spirit is still attached is exhausting. And yesterday they were too tired to keep holding that false version of themselves together. It is also possible that something shifted inside you at the same time. Maybe, even for a few hours, you stopped holding on so tightly. Maybe you got busy with your own life. Maybe you let go just enough to stop sending that constant pull in their direction. And when that happened, a gap opened. In deeper emotional energy, empty space never stays empty for long. The moment you pulled back, even briefly, they felt the true weight of your absence. While you keep your focus on them, part of them feels safe. They can still pretend they have some quiet hold on you. That false safety lets them stay distant. But yesterday that changed. Something in them realized they might truly be losing you. Not as a passing thought, not as drama, as a deep body-level fear. It may have hit them while they were out with people, at work, at dinner, or even trying to act happy around someone new. And then, without warning, the whole mood turned. Conversations felt empty. Noise became irritating. Nothing around them felt right. Their mind began throwing comparisons in every direction. Nobody looks at me the way you did. Nobody understands me the way you did. Nobody gives that same warmth. Yesterday, those thoughts did not come softly. They hit hard. If this message is landing, do not click away yet. This is the part most people miss. Their emotional defense began losing power because reality finally got louder than pride. They could no longer fully escape the truth that your absence has changed their life more than they wanted to admit. That rising pressure often shows up as anxiety with no clear reason. On the outside, everything may still look normal in their world. Their job may seem fine. Their health may seem okay. Their routine may still be moving. But yesterday, under that surface, they felt something was very wrong. Time was moving on, distance was doing damage, and pride was costing too much. This person likely found themselves staring at their phone for longer than usual. Maybe they opened your page. Maybe they typed a message then deleted it. Maybe they searched for any little sign that you still cared. but they were not doing it out of curiosity. They were doing it because the need became too strong to ignore. Yesterday they felt you like never before because their guard dropped. When the proud side grows weak, the deeper self steps forward. And that deeper self wants one thing. It wants to return to what feels true. In their heart, you still feel like that true place. The force of what they felt yesterday left them mentally shaken. They started questioning their own decisions. Why did I create this distance? Why did I let things become so cold? Why did I keep acting like this? Regret is heavy. It sits in the body. It drains the mind. It turns every quiet moment into a private storm. That is why this is not just a pretty message. It describes their real inner condition. They are caught in conflict. They want you, but fear stops them. They miss you, but doubt freezes them. They think of reaching out, but the chance of rejection locks them in place. And all of that mental force keeps moving toward you. That is why yesterday may have felt strange in such a physical way. You were catching the full power of their breakdown. They have tried many ways to shut you out of their mind. Maybe they threw themselves into work. Maybe they stayed busy on purpose. Maybe they tried sleeping earlier, scrolling longer, talking more, laughing louder. But feelings move like water. They always find a crack. Yesterday, the whole wave came through, and with it came a realization they could not avoid. They still carry you deep inside themselves. Your mark is still there. It has not faded. That truth scares a person who likes control. It scares someone who runs from deep emotion. So what you felt may have been the fear of someone who now sees the mistake clearly, but still does not know how to repair it. And that fear did not stay only in their thoughts, it moved into their body. Their system began reacting in ways they could not fully hide. If you could see them when no one else is around, you would notice signs that your presence still rules their inner life. This is where it becomes impossible for them to fake strength. The body tells the truth, the mouth will not speak. And right now their body is reacting to your absence with unusual force. Stay to the end, because one of these signs may match exactly what you felt too. This bond is not only living in thoughts or memories, it is showing up in their nerves, their sleep, their breathing, and their daily rhythm. What happened yesterday did not pass in 1 hour. It started something that is still moving through them now. One of the clearest signs is pressure in the center of the chest. Not a medical problem, not a dramatic scene, just that tight, squeezing feeling, as if something heavy is pressing on the heart. It can feel like breathing is harder even when the lungs are fine. That sensation often comes when too many words have been swallowed and too much love has been pushed down. Yesterday, that weight likely became hard to manage. At some point, they may have paused and taken a deep breath without knowing why. They may have pressed a hand to their chest. They may have needed a moment alone just to calm what felt like a silent crush inside. That feeling is not weakness. It is the burden of standing far from what still feels like home. And there is more. Sleeplessness becomes another clear sign. Their sleep is not deep. It breaks, it shifts, it pulls them up in the dark. Yesterday or last night, they may have woken suddenly in those quiet early hours, somewhere around 3 or 4 in the morning, fully alert for no clear reason. It can feel like hearing your name without sound, like being called by a memory, like the room is still but the heart is wide awake. In those hours, the walls around the ego drop, the noise of the day is gone, and thoughts of you rush in without resistance. They turn over, they search for comfort, but even the pillow feels heavy with memory. If you have ever woken in that strange hour thinking of them, you may understand how strong that pull can be. Their nights are not peaceful right now. Their rest keeps breaking because something deeper keeps trying to reach the surface. Another strong sign is unusual tiredness, not the normal kind that goes away after sleep, a deeper fatigue, a dull, drained feeling that makes simple tasks feel heavy. That kind of exhaustion often comes from inner conflict. Imagine how much life energy it takes to act all day like someone important no longer matters. Imagine the cost of telling the mind one story while the heart keeps telling another. That battle eats strength fast. So even if they rest, even if they try to reset, they still feel low, slow, and empty. Yesterday, this may have become very obvious. People around them may have noticed a flat look in their eyes, less spark, less focus, less life in the way they usually move. Their body is paying the price for a truth they keep resisting. Changes in appetite can also appear. The stomach reacts to emotional strain quickly. Some people lose hunger completely. Food tastes plain. Nothing sounds good. Others eat without real pleasure. using food to soften anxiety for a moment. Either way, the body is speaking. Yesterday, meals may have felt joyless to them, taste may have faded. That happens when the emotional center is too tight, and the deeper self feels disconnected from what it truly wants. If you are hearing this and feeling chills, keep going. There is a reason this sounds familiar. Even their senses may be searching for you now. They might think they saw your shape in a crowd. They might hear a voice that sounds like yours and turn too fast. A random scent in the air may pull your memory into the room so strongly that it feels almost real. The mind starts placing you everywhere because the bond is active, and the body keeps looking for what feels missing. Their whole system is scanning for you, even when they try to act unaffected. This is not about fantasy. It is about how deeply people can affect one another when the emotional link has never fully broken. There is an old idea from a great student of the human mind that explains this well. It says we are not as separate as we look. Beneath the surface, people are connected in ways that the eyes cannot see. Think of two trees growing far apart. Above the ground, they seem separate. Different trunks, different branches, different spaces. But below the soil, the roots spread wide. They touch, they pass signals, they share warning signs when something changes. In the same way, when one person takes an emotional hit, the other can feel the tremor through the hidden connection. This helps explain why yesterday felt so strange to you, and why it may have arrived without any text, call, or visible reason. Sometimes the outer world mirrors the inner world in precise ways. A song plays at the exact wrong moment. A name appears just when someone is trying hardest to forget. A sudden feeling lands in your chest when the other person is breaking in silence. These moments are not always random. Sometimes they are signs that something underneath is moving. Yesterday, their inner storm reached such a high point that it sent a clear signal through that unseen web, and you felt it. If you have ever said, "Why am I thinking of them right now?" this may be your answer. When strong emotion rises on one side of a bond, it can travel. When you suddenly become calm or pull back, that can travel too. Yesterday, one of those shifts happened, and they were not able to block it. From this view, their suffering is not pointless. It is forcing them to face what they have avoided for too long. People often run from strong connections because those connections act like mirrors. They show hidden fear, hidden insecurity, hidden need, hidden love. When they stepped away from you, they may have believed they were escaping the bond. In truth, they were trying to escape the parts of themselves that woke up around you. But what we refuse to face does not disappear. It waits, it builds. And yesterday, it rose too high to stay hidden. The pressure overflowed. The story they were telling themselves stopped working. They had to look at the truth, even if only for a moment, and that truth was painful. It said that this bond still matters. It said that distance has not erased what they feel. It said that no matter how much they try to move around it, your presence still lives in them. You do not need a message in your hand to know this connection exists. Sometimes silence itself becomes proof of how deep the struggle has grown. If this is reaching you, stay a little longer, because this next part matters most. Their silence is not simple peace. It is the gap between feeling and action. It is the space where fear takes over. Their heart may want one thing, while their ego demands another, and that creates paralysis. They are stuck between the urge to repair the distance and the terror of what might happen if they try. They fear losing control. They fear being turned away. They fear admitting they were wrong. That is why the phone stays quiet, even while their inner world gets louder. Think of their silence like a person stepping back from fire, not because the fire means nothing, but because the heat feels too strong. That is what this connection feels like to them now. Powerful, exposing, hard to manage. Reaching out would mean letting the last walls fall. It would mean admitting that all the distance, all the coldness, all the pride did not solve anything. It would mean facing the depth of what they still feel. And for someone ruled by control, that can feel like defeat. So they stay quiet, not because they do not care, but because caring has become too intense to handle cleanly. Still, this stage cannot last forever. No one can fight the deeper truth endlessly. The inner pull keeps returning. The connection keeps pressing. The silent web keeps vibrating until fear can no longer drown it out. Yesterday may have been the first real crack in that cycle. The moment they felt how empty life becomes when your energy stops reaching toward them in the same way. The moment their body, mind, and memory all turned in your direction at once. If you noticed a strange emotional hit yesterday, Do not ignore it too quickly. It may have been the exact moment their resistance weakened, and yes, that matters. Because when walls begin to fall on the inside, the outside usually changes next, not always at once, not always in the way people expect, but change begins there first. So if you have been doubting what you sensed, breathe. You may not be imagining it. Something very real may have moved through the bond yesterday, and it may still be moving now, wearing down the part of them that has tried so hard to stay untouchable. Right now, they are likely replaying scenes, words, and choices in their mind. They may be remembering moments they once brushed off, little things, your voice, the way you looked at them, the feeling of ease they had with you and may not have found anywhere else. When regret starts working through a person, it does not stay neat. It spills into ordinary life. It interrupts focus. It makes busy rooms feel empty. It turns simple silence into pressure. Yesterday, that replay may have been constant. Every comparison led back to you. Every distraction failed. Even if they smiled in public, the private storm did not stop. If they tried to act normal, it probably felt forced. If they tried to move on, it probably felt hollow. This is what happens when someone realizes too late that the thing they pulled away from was also the thing that brought them real warmth. And if they are someone who avoids emotion, then this realization feels even worse, because it threatens the image they built of themselves as unaffected, strong, distant, or in control. But the deeper self does not care much about that image anymore. The deeper self wants relief. It wants truth. It wants peace. It wants home. That is why the signs are getting louder. The chest pressure, the waking at night, the drained body, the constant thoughts, the restless checking, the sudden sadness with no clear reason. All of it points to one thing. They are feeling the weight of losing access to something their soul still recognizes. And if you felt strange yesterday too, then your side of the bond may have picked up the whole signal. Sometimes the body knows first. Sometimes the heart knows before the mind catches up. That may be exactly what happened to you. So what do you do with this? First, you stop calling yourself foolish for feeling what you felt. You stop assuming that silence always means nothing. You stop thinking that no message must mean no emotion. That is not always true. Sometimes the loudest feelings live behind the quietest screens. Second, you remember that your calm has power. When you stop chasing and stop forcing, the truth in the bond becomes clearer. Yesterday may have shown them what your real absence feels like, and that is something pride cannot easily hide from. Third, you let this give you steadiness instead of panic. You do not need to run after proof every second. If the connection is real, it will keep showing itself in ways that matter. And right now, it is showing itself through the way they are unraveling under the surface. If this message feels exact, then do not miss this final part. Their current pain is not only about missing you, it is also about finally seeing themselves clearly, seeing what fear made them do, seeing what distance cost, seeing how much energy they wasted trying not to feel what was always there. That kind of awakening hurts, but it also changes people. It softens what pride hardened. It opens what fear kept locked. And once that process begins, it usually does not move backward for long. Yesterday may have been the turning point, the day their defenses stopped feeling safe, the day your absence became real enough to shake them, the day the connection pressed hard enough to break through. So if you felt that pull, that heaviness, that sudden wave for no reason, trust that there may have been a reason after all. Their inner world may have called out, and somehow you heard it.